Welcome again to Cabin Examples. We are going to develop a 8-slot Geneva mechanism using SolidWorks. We're going to assemble the parts, create a motion, and then output that motion. Let's jump right in, start learning by doing. Firstly, let's create our base. So let's navigate to home and then create a new part. And let's go to our top plane, create a new sketch, zoom in a little bit, and let's go to our slot and create a center point slot. From here you can make the length any length for now and any width because we'll define it by sketch. Okay, let us make this 25mm radius, and let us create two circles 15mm in diameter. Repeat the same process here, and let's give this a dimension from here to here, and we're going to make that 50, and that's it. And now let's go to features, extrude. We're going to extrude at 10mm upward. Okay, and then let's select this edge, hold on control, select the bottom edge as well, and go to fillet, and we're going to fillet these 3mm. Okay, and now our base is completed. Let's add a material to our base. We're going to edit material. Now our material window is opened. Let's apply AISI 304 to our base, and let's apply a surface finish to that. So let's edit the appearance. Let's go to metals, steel, and let's double click on machine steel, and okay. So you can see machine steel is applied to our base, and our base is completed. But always save your part. So let's call this base, and all our parts will be saved into a specific folder. So you can create a folder and save all the parts in that folder. And that's it for the base. Next we'll do the Geneva wheel. Let's go ahead and create our Geneva wheel. So let's open a new part. With our new part open, let's right click on our top plane, create sketch, and we're going to draw a circle from the center of origin. So you click on that and you pull the mouse outward, and let's key in 184.78 millimeters. So enter. Now that we have this circle, we want to draw a line from this quadrant. So we can go ahead and we can draw a line from this quadrant, and let's make that 30.66 millimeters. If you want to know how to do all these calculations, you can check out the video on how to draw a Geneva mechanism in AutoCAD. That will help you to make your own calculations for any number of slots. So let's continue. Let's click on this line that we created, and let's offset entities. Let's make sure our dimension is selected. Select chain, bidirectional, and cap ends, and let's change this to 3.20 millimeters and click OK. Now let us go ahead and delete this cap, and let us trim. You can use the power trim to zoom in and just the excess beyond the circle. Okay, that's okay. Let's do it once, You need to repeat it to mess up your sketch. And now you can click on this line, center line, and you can turn it to, in your line properties, you can turn it to for construction. So this entire width is 6.40 millimeters. What you can now do is draw a center line from this center of origin to this quadrant to the top, and you draw another center line from the center of origin. Just go a little bit beyond the circle, and let's give this a dimension to these two lines, and let's give this a dimension of 22.5. That's the angle between this line and this line, and you give this one a length of 100 millimeters. Now what you want to do is draw a circle on the end of this line. Click outside. Let's do a dimension and make it 58.54 millimeters. Now let's zoom out by scrolling mouse away from your body. You can hold Control and middle mouse button to pan. Pull the mouse to you to zoom a little bit. Now that we have these, let us select this circle that we created, and let's select this arc, this line, and this line, and we're going to click this little drop down arrow and select circular sketch pattern, and let's key in 8 because we are going to do an 8 slot mechanism. Make sure this is 360 to go right or wrong, and if you click just anywhere here, you can see all 8 are shown equally spacing, and click OK. Now with that done, let us go to trim. Let's use the power trim, and let's start trim out the big circles. Let's get rid of these, just the outside here, and then now we can zoom in and trim the part for our slot. Okay, and if you move your dimension just here, make sure everything is trimmed nicely. And now let's go to features, extrude, and let's extrude this 8 millimeters upward. If you click here, this is downward, and you click here again, that is upward, so we need it upwards, and click OK. Now our main part of the mechanism is completed, so let us just roll it over a little bit, and let's click this bottom side, and we have the option to sketch. So let's create a sketch on this face, and let's create a circle, center, origin, and click anywhere there, and let's give this a dimension of 25 millimeters. And let's extrude this downward, so we want that come downward, and let's extrude it 10 millimeters. Make sure it's 10. Okay, and let's go back to this face, and let's create a sketch, and let's draw another circle on the center. Let's pull it out, zoom in a little bit, and let's create the sketch to be 15 millimeters in diameter. And now let's extrude that downward 20 millimeters. And let's OK. Now let's give our part some sort of number. So let's click on this top face and create a sketch. And let's use a midpoint line. Zoom in, let's click the center of origin. And you can make it any length. And then let's just turn this line into a construction line. Okay. And now with this line selected, you want to go to text and let's type something. Let's call this M6939 KD, just a random part number. And let's uncheck use document font, and let's go to font. Let's go to points. Let's change this to 28. You can actually key in the value. And let's change our font. You can actually key in the font as well. Let's go with Paul Pet Tour font. Let's go with this one and click OK. And you can make it center. And you click OK. Now zoom out and you go to features. First you have to come out of your sketch, so exit sketch. So our sketch is selected, so it all gets selected here. Go to wrap. You can just rotate that a little bit, and you want to make sure this box is selected. Click on your face and you have the option to emboss, which is to go outward, and you have the option to deboss, which is to go inside. So let's deboss this, and we're going to deboss it about 2 millimeters. Okay, and let's click OK. And as you can see, we have it debossed. Now let's apply some material to our part. First, let's apply the material itself. So let's right click on material, edit material. Now our window is open. Let's use the same material that we used the last time. AISI G04, apply. Let me close that, and let's give it a surface finish. So you can click on our wheel and let's apply a surface finish. Let's go to steel and let's use the same machine steel. That is okay. And now you want to make sure that you save your part in the same folder where you created the base. Now let's go ahead and create our mover. So let's go to part. With part open, let's go to our top plane, create sketch. Let's draw a circle from the center of origin. And let's give that a diameter of 98.07. And let's go ahead and extrude that upward. We want that to be 8 millimeters. Okay, let's go to the bottom and click on the bottom sketch. Let's create another circle with a diameter of 15 millimeters. And let's go to features and extrude that once more. And let's extrude that 20 millimeters downward. Okay, let's go back to our top face, sketch. Let's draw a circle for the center of origin, and let's make that circle 58.14 millimeters in diameter. And now let's draw a center line from the origin of that circle. Let's zoom out. We want it to go straight up, and from the top to the origin we connect the end of the line. And now what you want to do is give this line a dimension of 70.17 millimeters. Okay, and draw another circle from the top of this triangle to the end right here. And now we want to trim this circle out, so we can use our power trim and just get rid of that. And let's get rid of this portion and this portion as well. And now we can also draw a circle anyway on this line, and let's give that a diameter of 6.20 millimeters, and let's give it a dimension from the center to origin of 35.35 millimeters. Okay, and now let's go to extrude, and we're going to extrude both of them 10 millimeters, and click OK. And now let us apply some material to our mover. So let's go to material, right click, edit materials. Now that is open, let's use the same AISI 304 steel that we use on the others. So apply and close. And now let's click on our part, and let's apply some material to this on the surface of that steel. Let's use the same machine steel surface, but let's use a little different color for this one. Anything of your choice. Let's apply a little color to it. I'm going with something bluish. That will be good for that. And okay. And now you must always go and save your part in the same folder, and I'm going to call this a wheel mover. So all parts are saved in the same folder, and we'll go ahead and use these parts and create our assembly, a motion, and then we'll export a video. Now that we have created all our parts, let's go ahead and create an assembly. So let's navigate to our home, and this time we're not going to click on part, we're going to click assembly. Now let's wait for that to load. Now if you notice, it jumped to where we were saving all our parts, so I'm just going to select all of these, and then I'm going to click open, and now I have the option to insert one at a time. If you don't have that option, you come to assembly, insert components, and then you have the option to browse and repeat the same process. Okay, now let's create our mate. So we want to mate this part of the Geneva wheel with, so let's hit mate. We want to mate it with the inside of our base, first circle of our base, and we want to click the bottom of our Geneva wheel and the bottom of our base. Okay, and let's repeat the same process for the wheel mover here and here. Okay, let's rotate to get the bottom side to make them flush here and here, and okay, let's rotate, let's pan a little bit, that looks good. Okay, now let's click on the top of our Geneva wheel, go to normal tool, and what you can do here, you can change your apply scene to something like a gray backdrop. This makes our material show up much better. And now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to rotate our wheel, and you can just eyeball this, and as you can see we have a little tolerance, which is good, and just make this come around a little bit. Good. So you just line it up with your eyes. That's perfect. Then you can click outside, and then now we're going to create our motion. So let's go over to motion study 1, and we'll create our motion from here. Now let's begin our motion study. So firstly, let's set a time stamp. So let's right click on key properties, edit key point time. Let's enter 20 seconds. Okay. And now let's go to basic motion. Let's change from animation to basic motion. And let's go to settings right here. Let's change this to 30 frames per second. Let's make these high. Okay. And let's go to contact, which is this one. And we need to just rotate these a little bit. And our contact is this and this. And okay. Can go to zoom to fit. Zoom back in a little bit. And now we need to do something to our motor. We need to do some motor settings. And for here, let's click this, and let's change this to about 65 RPM. A little bit fast, but it's okay. And for the component to move relative to, we want to select our base. Okay, and let's change our direction to the reverse direction. Yeah, like that. So we'll go this way. And okay, let's go to isometric. Let's zoom in a little bit, and you just orientate this to suit yourself. I'll rotate it a little bit and go a little bit upward. That's good for me. And now I'll calculate. So as you can see, it's doing very nice. And then I can even go to our isometric, and you can also change your speed here if you want when you play it. So now that we've calculated our motion, zoom in a little bit, and now let's play back what we calculated. And while you're playing, as I mentioned before, you can change the views, and you can increase the speed. Okay, with this done, let's go ahead and create an output video. Now that our motion is completed, let's go and output that motion. So let's take this back to the beginning, and all we need to do is save animation, and you navigate to where you want it to be saved. I'm going to change this to MP4. I'm going to make it 30 frames per second, and then I'm going to change this to 16:9 ratio, and then I'm going to hit save. Yes, I want to replace the one that I did previously. It will take a little bit longer because it's rendering each frame. At 10 seconds, I will hit spacebar and change the view to an isometric view. So now I hit spacebar. I'm going to change to an isometric view. I'm going to hold Control and the middle mouse button pan down a little bit, and then I'm going to put my mouse approximately here, and then I'm going to pull it a bit to me, and I'm just going to leave it just like that until it's finished, and then we'll play our output video. When it's finished, you have to wait until it's finally right in the file, and it will take a few seconds before it does that. It will make a sound when it's finished right in the file. There you go. And now we can navigate to where we saved our file. Now let's play our file. There you go. And at 10 seconds, it should change the view. There you go. And that's it for our Geneva mechanism. I hope you enjoy. Bye for now.